What is the deal with the Green New Deal? Let's go. Yeah.
We face an existential threat.
Oh,
It is on the line. We have 12 short
this one started differently.
years to change everything, or it's game over.
You're goddamn right it is.
This is the terrifying scenario that's used by many leading politicians to justify a Green New Deal.
Okay, first off, climate change is a big deal. It's a real thing. I imagine he's going to talk about it, but we'll see what happens. Differences in climate will fuel a whole bunch of different potential consequences. It's going to look different the whole world over. It's not just rising sea levels. It's not just higher temperatures. It's a lot of stuff that's all kind of rolled into one big giant ball. Even if we get things under control, there's stuff going on right now, right this moment, that we are going to have to deal with one way or another. Well, let's just hear him out. Let's just see what he goes, and then we can get into examples.
This is the terrifying scenario that's used by many leading politicians.
Okay, Alex Epstein. I'm sorry, I just noticed his name. Author, The Moral Case for Fossil Fuels. Oh, God. Okay.
To justify a Green New Deal, an unprecedented increase in government power focused on the energy industry.
I haven't actually read the Green New Deal. It's only like 14 pages, so it's not a big deal. Big deal. Oh, God.
The core idea of a Green New Deal is that government should rapidly prohibit the use of fossil fuel energy and impose 100% renewable energy.
This is unprecedented increase in government power.
This may sound appealing.
1 second.
But consider what it would entail. Today, 80% of the energy...
I'm already like uncomfortable and I feel like we're getting off. We're running rapidly away on a gish gallop, but let's hear.
Americans use to heat their homes, farm their land, run their factories, and drive their cars comes from fossil fuels. Coal, oil, and natural gas.
And this is bad. We need to change this. If nothing else, we should, even if climate change wasn't like a real thing, we should change this just for the amount of air pollution that comes out. The air pollution alone is honestly unjustifiable.
Only 3.4% comes from solar and wind, despite decades of government subsidies and mandates to encourage their use.
No, I'm sorry, that's really fucking stupid. The decades of government subsidies and mandates weren't to encourage the use, but to encourage the development of these technologies so they would get better. Because obviously, in the long term, having them be better is gonna be better for all of us. That's what the government subsidies are for, dipshit.
The reason we don't use
I hate his face! Look at his stupid face.
much sunlight and wind as energy is that they are unreliable fuels that only work when the sun shines and the wind blows.
They also have a large market share already that they have had for a very long time, and it's going to take a while, even as the other technologies get better, it's going to take a while to phase all of them out because of the huge market share that they have. Kind of like accumulating capital. There's got to be a term for that. When you have like a large amount of capital, and you just kind of tend to retain it. It's like inertia.
That's why no town, city, or country has ever come close to 100% or even 50% solar and wind.
Oh, little sleight of hand there. There are places that have 100% renewable energy. He specifically limited it to solar and wind, ignoring hydroelectric plants, I've noticed. Also, another dumb sleight of hand here. The very large solar power plants that we have, not the solar power panels that you see on rooftops, but the large solar power plants actually use natural gas. The way they work, they're called solar thermal. There's a large pillar in the center, and all these little mirrors reflect light into it, and it gets to be like 50,000 degrees, and it boils molten salts that go and spin turbines. Really pretty cool. All right, check this out. These guys, Ivanpah. This is like right along the border between Nevada and California. You can see it off of the I-8, I believe. Oh yeah. The way these are made, they also run on natural gas. They run on natural gas like early in the morning and at night when there's no sun and on cloudy days. So when there's like a cloudy day or for whatever reason there's no sunlight, these power plants are able to still produce electricity. Not only that, but this like the heat that's retained in the center tower here is strong enough and maintains the heat long enough that it still produces electricity throughout the night. Really fucking cool. Even though they still use natural gas, the amount of electricity that's produced by these power plants, it's still like 100% more efficient than just a pure natural gas power plant. It's really cool stuff. Anyway, yeah. The Ivanpah is like one of the newest ones. It takes a while to kind of get everything up and running, but so this statement from him is kind of a weasel statement. So we could technically have a solar power plant that's a hell of a lot better than like running coal power plants, and it still uses some natural gas. And that's fine. That's great. Because that's a hell of a lot better than full-on fucking fossil fuels. So when he says, you know, no city has come close to 100% solar and wind, well, yeah, because the power plant fucking has natural gas.
Close to 100% or even 50% solar and wind.
Because that's literally not how solar is designed. That's not how the solar power plants are designed. Okay, let's go.
And yet, Green New Deal proponents say they can do the impossible.
I'm willing to bet the Green New Deal doesn't prohibit power plants like that.
We give the government control of the energy industry and control of major users of energy, such as the transportation industry, manufacturing, and agriculture.
Yeah, good.
All of this is justified by the need to do something about the existential threat of rising CO2 levels.
Man, the way he put it, the tone of his voice there, condescending prick.
We're told on a daily basis that prestigious organizations like the United Nations have predicted mass destruction and death if we don't get off fossil fuels.
Yeah.
What we're not told is that such predictions have a decades-long track record of getting it wrong.
Oh, hold on. I got another one to add to it, though. There's another prestigious organization. Are y'all ready for this? You're not ready for this. He mentioned the United Nations. Now, he's saying this because a lot of conservatives just hate the United Nations. I don't know why. Okay, that's fine. Fine. You don't like the United Nations? Whatever. Okay, you don't like them. You think anything they say is bullshit. Okay, fine, whatever. I have another prestigious organization that has acknowledged the threat of climate change being really, really bad. Are you ready? It's called the United States Military. This is from NBC News. The U.S. military is terrified of climate change to done more damage than the Iranian missiles. I don't know what that means. Soldier stands guard at the damaged entrance to Tinadol Air Force Base in Panama City, Florida. All hell breaking loose how the Pentagon is planning for climate change. More pictures of the Air Force Base. United States Army War College. Implications of climate change for the United States Army. Oh, man. And study authors are almost all Army and Air Force officials and National Guard. All right, so hey, maybe these predictions. Hey, oh, don't let those liberals at the UN tell you. Oh, and now that the military says it, what? Is the military a bunch of commies too? Is that it? I bet they probably think so. Yeah, anything that says something that we don't like is they're bad.
And by wrong, I mean completely missing the dartboard.
Okay.
Wrong.
Yeah.
For example, in 1989, the Associated Press reported a United Nations prediction that entire nations could be wiped off the face of the Earth by rising sea levels if the global warming trend is not reversed by the year 2000.
Hold up.
Levels.
Key word here, could be. So even in this AP article, they're saying could be, as in it's a possibility. That's not off the board, dipshit. That's just them saying it's a possibility. The obvious answer here is the Netherlands. Significant chunks of the Netherlands are below sea level. Hold on. Oh God, can we find a map? Netherlands tourism. About 1/3 of the Netherlands lies below sea level. Aha! Here we are. Okay. Alright, so according Flood control in the Netherlands. Without dikes, that's not the homophobic word. It's dikes, as in the dam. That's what they call it in the Netherlands. The Netherlands could be flooded to this extent. Amsterdam, underwater. Amsterdam's the capital. These other cities that I don't know how to pronounce, underwater. Hold on, we should have a map of the Netherlands just to, like, show what it looks like. Hold up. Hold up. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, shit. Well, hold on. This is good. This is a good one. All right, this one is Netherlands below sea level. Blue is below sea level. Green is above. Now this is the current. Actually, hold on. This is like an older thing. I don't know when this was written, actually. Current sea level. So as the sea levels rise and, you know, God forbid a hurricane hit Northern Europe and just fucking destroy the dikes holding the water back. But yeah, this would be really fucking bad. Hold on. What's the population of Amsterdam? It's really big. Okay, Amsterdam population. It says 821,000. And Utrecht, I'm pronouncing that wrong, 1.264 million. Rotterdam is 623,000. Amsterdam Metro, 2.8 million. Oh, jeez. It's like half of Phoenix. Yeah, okay. It would be bad. All right.
If the global warming trend is not reversed by the year 2000. We're now 2 decades past 2000. We're not missing any nations, and human beings are living longer, healthier, and wealthier lives than ever before.
That has nothing to do with any of it. What does that have to do with anything? Hey, guys, climate change is a real threat, and if we don't do something about it, we might have to we might have to face some consequences that are gonna be pretty bad. TikTok, 20 years go by. Guess what, liberal? My pills are better now, and I'm still alive!
But aren't things bound to get worse? Haven't scientists established that CO2 is a...
No, yeah, the US military seems to think so. I mean, okay, another thing to add to that. The United States military has, like, bases and does operations all around the world. They're intelligence and scientific people, yet their intelligence, the intelligence gathering and, like, scientists that work for the military are probably gonna notice the effects a lot more than the average Joe will, because they can look at all the military bases and military actions around the world, like we do. Like our military does. I know we joke about United States military imperialists, yeah, okay, but like we help with like disaster relief all over the world all the time. And it's like hurricanes and tsunamis and stuff. There's been more. The United States okay, as time has gone on, the United States has had to do more in response to these things. I think the military might notice that. Okay.
Greenhouse gas with a warming influence on the planet?
Oh, I'm sorry, hold on. Half of Phoenix, Americans will measure anything. Americans will measure using literally anything except the metric system. Ha! That's pretty funny. That is good. I've made it. I know you're joking, but I've made it. If anyone else isn't sure, I live in Phoenix. Phoenix is the big city in Arizona. So it's like 4.5 million people. It's just, that was funny. That was good. If global warming exists, why is my penis small? Liberals destroyed. I've heard. I don't know. I've heard that people say that like human effect on the climate has actually been affecting penis size, believe it or not. And the large thing, the penis size and it was sperm count and something else in regards to male reproductive stuff. I think the big things that they're looking at are air pollution and plastics like in the water. I'm not certain. Also might be fertilizer run. I don't know. Pesticides probably the big one actually. I'm paranoid about fertilizer runoff, but I think it was pesticide too. But I don't know. Well, let's go.
That CO2 is a greenhouse gas, healthier and wealthier lives than ever before. But aren't things bound to get worse? Haven't scientists established that CO2 is a greenhouse gas with a warming influence on the planet? Yes.
Well, that's like just a statement of fact. CO2 is a greenhouse gas, and there's like 4 greenhouse gases. CO2, methane. I forget the others. They're like really fancy names.
Yes, but that's only a small part of the big picture. Although CO2 causes some warming, it's much less significant than we've been told. Since we started using significant amounts of fossil fuels in the
You got to talk about the other ones, maybe? Like, they all add up. They all contribute.
Middle of the 19th century, we've increased the percentage of CO2 in the atmosphere from 0.03% to 0.04%, which correlates with an average temperature increase of about 2 degrees Fahrenheit.
Is he just, like, admitting it? I don't understand the purpose of him saying this.
It also correlates with significant global greening because CO2 is plant food.
Oh, God, is he doing this? Oh, the H. Bomber Guy video joked about people saying this. In fact, Jordan Peterson fucking said this. It's like, oh, wow, so you're just going to the full... Instead of recognizing the effects of this, you're just like, wow, did plants like it? It's good. Brondo, it's what plants crave!
All of this is far from unprecedented territory for our planet, which has existed with at least 10 times today's CO2 levels and a 25-degree warmer average temperature. What is true?
Yeah, the question isn't whether the planet can survive. The question is whether humanity can survive, whether civilization can survive, and assuming, I'm going to assume it will, and we will, but the question then is going to be, well, what are we going to have to do with all these refugees leaving countries that are no longer inhabitable? Saudi Arabia is now 150 degrees. People can't fucking live there. Okay, it's not actually like that right now, but I'm just saying like that could be a possibility. I'm being hyperbolic here. But what are we going to have to do then? We're not fucking prepared to handle that. That's the bigger point. Not only that, what about massive population loss of all the other species on the planet? Because guess what? Whether you want to acknowledge it or not, that's fucking happening, and that's kind of irrefutable. You may not want to acknowledge that, but we're going through another mass extinction event. Yeah. You guys know the monarch butterflies? You guys know monarch butterflies, right? Well, Americans probably will, and if you're slightly older, you probably will. Monarch butterfly. Yeah. Yeah, these guys. You guys know the monarchs. They're so pretty, aren't they? Oh. Hold on. This is a good one. Hold on. Let's get a bigger picture. Oh, look at that. Look at it. Look at that thing. Ah, it's so beautiful, isn't it? Yeah. They're going to go extinct within the next 50 years. Isn't that nice? They're going away. It's too late. It's already too late. The population loss that they've been suffering is so massive that, like, It can't be stopped at this point, I'm afraid. There will be some, there will probably be some that manage to survive in captivity, but in real life, no. In the wild, they're gonna go extinct. You're gonna, if you live long enough, you're gonna see them go extinct. Oh, this one's so bad. Population of the western monarch butterfly between 1997 to 2019. It's in the 5 digits now. Look at how low it just fucking plummeted during Trump's presidency. Are we even surprised? Yeah. Yeah. When I was young, I remember I would see hundreds or thousands of these flying by. Like here in Arizona even. They migrate along the coast usually, but you see them here in Arizona. And I would just go outside and like into the garden, and it's like they're everywhere. There was so many of them. It was so cool. They were migrating. They wouldn't stay here for super long, but I'd see them all over. It was so neat. And within the last like 5 years, I think I've seen maybe 3. Yeah. So, um, there's another thing to think about. I know that sounds bad. There's more to think about. When's the last time you guys have like gone outside and like looked at it? Okay, you go outside and there's like a rock on the ground, and you pick it up and you look underneath it. Used to be there would always be a whole bunch of bugs underneath it, and they go crawling away. I don't see as many anymore when I do that. I still see a few sometimes, but it's not like it used to be. Oh, and there's another thing called the windshield. I think it's called the windshield effect. Oh, man. You guys are really going to hate this. So here in the United States, I imagine a lot of other places in the world too. A lot of times when you go driving and there's like roads right up next to farmland, and you go driving along big rural farmland, you know, and oftentimes it's like you do it later at night, you get a whole bunch of bugs on your windshield. Sometimes it would be so bad you could barely see out the window. You get home and you hose your window off, and you gotta scrape all the dead bugs off of your windshield. That doesn't happen anymore. I heard a story of my uncle riding a motorcycle, and his helmet back in the 90s, the 80s, and his helmet was so covered in bugs by the time it was done, he could barely see. He had to like soak it in like a bucket to get all the fucking bugs off of him. Doesn't happen anymore. This is called the windshield phenomenon. There's a whole Wikipedia page on it. The observation that recently fewer dead insects accumulate on the windshields of people's cars has been attributed to a global decline in insect populations. Oh, there's a whole page on that. Caused by human activity. Oh, man. I don't know if any of you have noticed this, but like, I haven't had to like clean bugs off of my windshield like in the last 10 years. I get mud and dirt on my windshield still and have to clean it, but bugs? What's this? Annual decline of 5.2% in flying insect biomass found in nature reserves in Germany. About 75% loss in 26 years. Oh, jeez. All right. Yeah. Okay. So that's doomer and depressing. Now, will Cuckboy here answer any of that? Let's find
Truly
out.
unprecedented, though, is how safe our average temperature. What is truly unprecedented, though, is how safe we are from climate.
Yeah. Okay.
The International Disaster Database, a nonpartisan organization that tracks deaths from climate-related causes, such as extreme heat, floods, storms, and drought, shows that such deaths have been plummeting as CO2 emissions have been rising.
No, that's not causation, you moron. The reason why the number of deaths has gone down is because we have developed better technologies and we are better at responding to these things. Holy fucking shit, dude. Extreme heat? Yeah. You know, it used to be New York City. Now, used to be New York City. I remember there'd be news stories. They get a heat wave, temperature jumps up to 90 degrees Fahrenheit, maybe a little higher, and people fucking die from the heat waves. Because there was New York City, they don't have air conditioning. People would die. Now, we've adjusted to this. Now, a lot of places in New York City do have air conditioning. Now, a lot of, especially a lot of public places. Now, not apartments and houses have air conditioning now, a lot more than there ever has been in New York City. But now there's public places that have it too, because they've been prepared. Now that they've had a few heat waves, they know to prepare for it. Same goes for floods, storms, droughts. Same goes for all of it. Floods, storms, droughts. Well, I don't know why you'd add drought to that. People usually don't die during droughts. Well, they can, but we're prepared for it. Floods and storms, yeah. Wow. We have buildings better equipped to handle high winds. Oh no, it's because we're safe from the climate. No, idiot! It's because we know how to build around it, because we're goddamn humans. We know how to fix these things.
Emissions have been rising. How is this possible? Because of the fossil fuel energy that emitted the CO2.
Oh God, what?
Which has empowered us to climate-proof our environment.
What?
With heating, air conditioning, sturdy buildings, mass irrigation, and weather warning systems.
When you're completely cucked in your idea, you're not saying it. You're not making any sense.
Fossil fuel energy has not taken a naturally safe climate and made it unnaturally dangerous. It's taken our naturally dangerous climate and made it unnaturally safe.
So, I'd like to point out, he didn't mention the increasing intensity of hurricanes at all. And by leaving that out, it's making it seem like, oh, everything's fine. It's perfectly fine. The fossil fuels made us safer. Selective disinformation there.
Fossil fuels are not an existential threat. They're an existential resource because they increase something much more important than the level of CO2 in the atmosphere, the level of human empowerment.
Oh man, I wasn't ready for this absurdity.
Life expectancy, income, health, leisure time, and education are all tightly linked to increased access to fossil fuels.
Oh, I get it. Everything he just listed off there. Hold on.
Increased life expectancy, income, health, leisure time, and education are all tightly linked to increased access to fossil fuels.
So if you're a rich nation, you have better things. That's got nothing to do with fucking fossil fuels.
Does this mean that we shouldn't look?
Holy shit. Like, these people, how do people, like, listen to this stuff? That's the worst part of this. That really is. 6.7 million views. This is like the worst part of this is you just know dumb fucking boomers are going to listen to this and they're going to say, actually, I'm not worried about the climate change. The Green New Deal is socialism and evil. Oh.
Look for lower carbon energy alternatives? Of course.
Say that again.
Does this mean that we shouldn't look for lower carbon energy alternatives? Of course not. But the alternatives should lead us toward more abundant, more reliable power, not less.
Okay, I already went over and gave y'all that whole lecture on the new solar power plants, the solar thermal power plants. Notice how as he's described this whole video, he comes to this conclusion, but he doesn't actually describe how any of the power plants work, doesn't actually describe how any of the power systems work. It just mentions solar and wind, and he says they're not consistent. They actually are consistent. Notice how he didn't really fully explain that, though.
The most promising form of alternative energy is not unreliable solar and wind, but reliable carbon-free nuclear energy.
Yeah, I'm fine with nuclear, but hold on.
Less. The most promising form of alternative energy is not unreliable solar and wind.
Also, we build wind turbines in areas where the wind is reliable. So yeah, it's not really an issue. There are places in the world that constantly get wind. That's why you have to measure it first before you don't just plop wind turbines everywhere. I'm sorry. This is like such a dumb anti-science thing that I only ever hear from conservatives, but talking about solar and wind being unreliable is just not true. Now, it's true you can't place solar and wind everywhere in the world, but they are perfectly reliable. A lot of the times they have like up to 100% uptime, depending on, as long as like nothing bad goes on. No hurricane or something hits them, that'll usually take them out.
But reliable carbon-free nuclear energy.
Okay, yeah, I'm fine with this.
Sweden gets 40% of its electricity from nuclear.
Based.
France, over 70%.
Based as fuck! Go France!
While nuclear energy is smeared as unsafe, it has actually been demonstrated by study after study to be the safest form of energy ever created.
Yeah, that is actually true. I've looked into that before. Hold on.
After study.
Oh, look. There's like actual sources down here on the bottom. Nice. This is actually true. Probably the big, massive reason for this is, I didn't bring it up earlier. You compare it to fossil fuels. Fossil fuels produce like so much air pollution, and air pollution is horrible for humans and like any kind of life, really. CO2 is good for plant. Yeah, okay. Why don't you go move right next door downwind to the coal power plant? No, nobody wants to do that. Not even this guy would. It's just like stuff like coal power plants and the air pollution that they produce are linked to so much fucking like death and health conditions that nuclear energy without any air pollution produces just no air pollution, beautiful. Also, wind turbines explode sometimes, so be aware of that. Yeah, even like solar, which is a little surprising. You'd expect solar to be better, but apparently people died during construction of solar and stuff like that. All right, whatever.
Study to be the safest form of energy ever created. And yet, Green New Deal proponents who say that we have 12 years to save the planet from rising CO2 levels vigorously oppose nuclear. In addition,
That's a straw man. I've not actually I hear people say this. I hear people say that these people oppose nuclear more than I've actually heard people opposing nuclear. Does that make sense? I've not really met many people who oppose nuclear. Someone in chat mentioned earlier, yeah, the new nuclear power plants that they build don't use uranium, they use thorium. Yeah, Manamoth. Yeah. The new ones use thorium, which is, well, okay, put simply, thorium is a lot safer and a lot more stable than the old uranium is. Like, everyone thinks Chernobyl when exploded because uranium is really, really fucking dangerous to deal with. Thorium won't do that. Thorium's a different element. It's just fundamentally down at the atomic level, it's different. It's not really made to, it's not really, I guess it's not really made, it's an element, but it doesn't have the capacity to explode quite like uranium does. I guess that's not to say that, you can't make it explode if you don't try, but that's another matter. Step 1, make a farm next to your local fossil fuel burner. Step 2, profit. You can't do that. I mean, okay, you could try that, but the air pollution and the soot that comes out of them will likely kill all the plants that come out. It'll likely just suffocate and choke them to death. Because while they still need carbon dioxide, while plants need carbon dioxide, it's still possible to smother them. Wow, rooftop. Oh, okay. When I look up like Death Spice Solar, the only thing that comes up is like rooftop solar. So it's possible then there's like no. It's possible there's not much involved, not much research in the new kinds of solar power plants yet. This is possible. It might even be safer. Haha, that would be interesting. All right. Yeah, accidents. All right, cool. I've seen enough. Let's continue.
to all fossil fuel use. By opposing every affordable, abundant, reliable form of energy, the Green New Deal won't protect us from an existential threat. It is an existential threat.
Oh wow, okay. Like I've said, the new solar power plants don't do that. I know I live in Arizona, so I'm biased because this is like the ideal spot for solar. In like pretty much all of the United States. Is that it?
I'm Alex Epstein, author of The Moral Case for Fossil Fuels for Prager University.
I want to point something out. Okay, that's the whole video. The title is What's the Deal with the Green New Deal? You may have noticed through this whole video, he didn't once actually quote a single part of the Green New Deal. Huh. Wonder why he didn't do that. What are you hiding from us, Mr. Epstein? Well, that's okay, because I can pull it up for you. Green New Deal, House Res 109. It's not that long. It's only 14 pages. I was right. Hi. Now, hold on. Let's just see what... Oh, look, fossil doesn't even come up. Carbon. Carbon comes up once. Removing greenhouse gases from the atmosphere. Wait, what is this from? Isn't this like less like a super intensive economic overhaul and more of like just a series of stated goals. The goals described in sub-paragraphs should be accomplished through a 10-year national mobilization that will require the following goals and projects. Yeah, that's what I thought. See? And like right here, it says clean, affordable, accessible public transit, high-speed rail. There's like nothing about like a budget or super government power here. It's just that we should do it. Like, it's like a stated goal. Like, this... I'm not really concerned about anything then. If that's all it is, it's like, it's nice, but ultimately that's kind of just lip service. All right, energy. There's a few energy things. Meeting 100% of the power demand in the United States through clean, renewable, zero-emission energy sources, including dramatically expanding, upgrading renewable power sources, deploying new capacity. By deploying new wait, I guess I feel like there's a sentence cut off there. Building or upgrading to energy efficient, distributed and smart power grids, ensuring affordable access to electricity, upgrading existing buildings in the United States and building new buildings to achieve maximum energy efficiency, water efficiency, safety, affordability, comfort, and durability through electrification. This would actually be a pretty good thing. There are a lot of old buildings in the United States that just kind of like even in Arizona, there are some buildings that's like you walk into them and it's like, this is an old building and the air conditioning here kind of sucks. But they just crank the AC up and it's running 24/7. Oh God. And if they just took a little bit of work to like upgrade the insulation in the building, then it's like, you wouldn't have to run this. You could probably be running the AC like 20 minutes a day, but no one wants to do that. Yeah, okay. This isn't... Alright, I think we're done.
Prager University.
Thank you for watching this video. To help keep PragerU videos free, please consider making a tax-deductible donation.
That's it. Well, you can make a taxed donation to my Patreon instead. How about that? Haha, haha. Oh, yeah. Speaking of which, I'm going to give a thank you to last month's patron backers. ASU Asian Woman, Benjamin Kessler, Dios, Ian Diaby, Here Comes the Rat, James Paul, Jai Palamo, Lionel, Mellow Cheddar, Suzanne Hendrickson, and Xylorp. If you want to help fight climate change, consider backing me on Patreon so I can continue to make recycled content like this.